So, obviously, the Dijonai Carrington situation has kind of escalated now with the new angle coming out of the whole situation. But I'm going to be talking in this video about whether or not I believe Dijonai Carrington should be suspended for the upcoming Game 2 of the Indiana Fever versus the Connecticut Sun. But yeah, this is obviously something that we gotta talk about this, because it all really, again, it comes down to intent. And unfortunately, I actually do think this being called, like, if this angle was shown at the time, it might have been given as a flagrant 2 on the day. I really do. And Caitlin, by the way, I'm not gonna accuse Dijonai Carrington because of an intentional eye gouge. Because if we're being completely honest, if this was intentional, this is not like a game suspension. If this is intentional, this is like a done for the playoffs type thing. This is like a 10-game suspension, but that's why I refuse to say, like, look, I'm not a fan of Dijonai Carrington, just like most of us aren't fans of Dijonai Carrington, but I'll give the benefit of the doubt until it comes out in 10 years' time in a podcast that she meant to do it. Like, we have to, like, just human decency. Like, you don't have to believe it. Look, if you're asking me what I believe, I'm not going to answer that question because you guys, like, it's fairly obvious. But, like, looking at this clip right here, like, this it looks so bad. It looks so bad, like you don't hit someone in the eye with a Santino Marella Cobra strike. Like that is, I have never blocked a shot and gone into a Cobra. Like, I've never, like, when I swatted, like, if this was a flat hand, that even if it was like the double motion and it was like a flat hand that kind of caught her in the eye like that, I would have a lot more, like, for me, I would say 100% I'm refusing to admit that it's not accidental. But I have never mid-block gone into a Cobra strike in my life before. I have never done that, and I've never seen anyone do that before. And look, it's just not great. It's not great. And by the way, like, again, no matter what happens, don't do Unrivaled, Caitlin. Do not do Unrivaled, no matter what happens. Even if this is a complete accident, do not do Unrivaled. Please don't do Unrivaled. But I will say, my overall opinion of the entire situation is, considering it was given as a no call on the floor, and also the fact that she immediately after, obviously, when you hit someone in the eye, even if it's a thing, you can tell when you see someone dropping. She immediately ran down the court for a leak out layup, which is a funny part about that as well. But, like, I don't think she should be suspended because there's no proof. The reality of this is like, if Caitlin Clark's flail back ended up being an inch different and she clocked her in the face with an elbow, I don't think we'd be calling for Caitlin Clark getting suspended. Obviously, there's two different, like, severities. If Caitlin Clark's was intentional and she got her in the face with an elbow, cool, suspend her for 1 game. But if Dijonai Carrington's was intentional, suspend her for 10. Like, that is the situation. A lot of people are like, oh, she should be suspended for 1 game. It's like, if this is intentional, this is like whatever is the maximum thing you can do. Like, the only things that are more dangerous than a freaking eye gouge is going for someone's knees. It's going for someone's knee, basically. Or hitting someone, pushing someone while they're in the air. Like, there's only, like, which can wreck their back. Like, there are only very, very few things that are more dangerous than than intentionally doing this. But the only thing is, like, I just don't, just out of human decency, I don't want to believe that this was intentional. Look, every single thing points to this not being accidental, but I just don't want to say it. I don't want to say it, and I'll admit that. If you want to be angry at me for this, I don't want to say it. And if it's accidental, it should have still been called, even accidental, it's a flagrant one. Even accidental, it is a flagrant 1. Heck, even accidental, it might be a flagrant 2. I'm pretty sure there is something in the thing for like excessive contact, yes. Contact with the head, yes. Needless contact, considering the fact that she went into the cobra motion. Even if it is completely accidental, I'm pretty sure it ticks off enough boxes to have been a flagrant 2. Why the referees didn't even review this at the time while a player is rolling along the ground in pain, you have to review that. Just like in football. If a player hits the deck and there's VAR, VAR has to like review it if someone just falls over off the ball. Like, this was a flagrant 1 to flagrant 2, even accidental. So, I think she maybe could have been tossed, probably should have been tossed early in the game yesterday. But I think that you can't, even if, like, you can't suspend her for a game. You can't, because the only way the WNBA can justify suspending Dijonai Carrington is if it was intentional. No one other than Dijonai Carrington knows, and maybe Melissa Smith knows whether this is intentional or not. That was intentional or not, or maybe some of the teammates. But the reality is that we all live on with the pretenses of like innocent until proven guilty, and just based on decency, because even if I do have a 95%, I think from looking at it, I would be 95% confident that I can say one thing. If it turns out it was the other, and even if it is only a 5% chance, and I think it's completely reckless to accuse someone of doing it intentionally. But I still think even unintentionally, this is reckless, dangerous, and should have been kicked out of the game. I think even unintentional, it's reckless and dangerous. But a reckless and dangerous unintentional play is not always a suspension. It's just not. And that's the reality of the situation, is that you can't justify a 1-game suspension. There's no justification for a 1-game suspension here. There's actually not. Like, it is either you throw the book at her or ends with the referee's call. The real people that you should be complaining to are the referees for not taking a look at the monitor. Christy Sides for not challenging the call. Like, and by the way, I can guarantee you if that happened to an Aces player, I don't know what the referees would have done, but Becky Hammond would have ran on the court screaming, taken a technical foul, and made sure as hell the referees went to the monitor. So, I don't even blame Christy Sides. She did get teed up by swearing at a freaking ref. But, yeah, I do think it was the fault of the referees in real time. I think if that angle had been shown on the broadcast, I'm not sure she's in the game after a minute and a half. And like, if the Ty Harris thing still happens and Dijonai's out of that game, they probably don't win it. But I think seeing if it's a completely accidental thing, the problem is this the Connecticut Sun. We've seen the Angel Reese chokeslam. We've seen the shoulder charge. Like, Caitlin Clark has had two. Like, again, a lot of people said the Alyssa Thomas one was just a hard screen. From my angle, it looks like it was a shoulder charge to the face. It looks like in the last 2 games, Caitlin Clark has picked up 2 injuries. She stumbled off woozy after getting hit in the face previous time. She's been smacked in the face twice now. Nowhere near the ball. So, in the last 2 games against this team. So, there is a pattern there as well. And the reality is that I just don't know. I don't know what you can do if you're the WNBA in this scenario, but it's just not a great look. I think you need to pull in all the refs and be like, you got to be better at this, because it's an extremely, extremely bad look when you can make a compilation of what deems, again, if it happens once and a referee misses it, it is what it is. You can probably make a compilation of 15 flagrant fouls against Caitlin Clark that weren't called. They weren't called as flagrants. The Kennedy Carter one, this one, the Ezzy Magbagor smack to the face, and she was also the most flagrantly foul player in the league. And you could, like, she's been, the landing space fouls won a freaking game almost that isn't called. And then, in fairness, the swipe back and the Jordan Canada one, you can probably have 2 that should have been called on Caitlin. But you can make a 3-minute long freaking montage of Caitlin Clark stuff. So anyway, yeah, that is the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.